everybody, Jane here, and today I'm reviewing The Study of Animal Languages by Lindsay Stern. Even though this kind of looks like it should be a book about animals, it is actually not. It is a novel, as you can see right there in the umbrella. So this novel is actually kind of a family drama. It is about a husband named Ivan and a wife named Prue. Double check. Yes. So Prue and Ivan both work academically. She studies birds and he teaches philosophy. She teaches, I think, too, but hers is about birds and animals in general, but birds particularly, I believe. She is going to give, when we start the book, she's about to give a huge lecture on some recent findings that they have. And her dad is coming to see the lecture, and Ivan has been sent to get her dad. Now, her dad is struggling from some mental health issues, which, by the way, were very well represented in this book, in my opinion. And so Ivan and the dad go on the road, get to the conference. Prue stands up, and the things that she has to say are not things that are going to make her bosses and the academy and the people that pay her paychecks happy. This leads to a lot of different issues and ultimately to Ivan and Prue having issues in their relationship. Now, I did end up giving this a 3 out of 5. It was okay. There were things I really liked about it and things I really didn't like about it. So I did find this very relatable on a lot of levels. The first just being that I am in a relationship where my boyfriend appreciates that I work and the work that I do with my books and my YouTube, but he doesn't really care that much. Like, he's not one to have long drawn out conversations about it. It doesn't really involve him or his life, and he doesn't care a lot. And I think we get that feeling with Ivan that he is not actively engaged in his wife's work, and that can cause marital discord. And I recently was talking to a friend who is also in the creative industries, and they got divorced because of their partner not being very interested in their creative life, because this is such a huge part of our life. So I really related to that aspect of the story. I loved the mental health representation. I believe the dad, they said, was bipolar. But whatever it was, he was having some manic moments in this book. And I have a family member who has some serious mental health problems, and so a lot of the stuff that was happening with the dad was stuff that we've kind of been through. I think I'll go into it a little bit more in the spoiler section, because I am going to do a spoiler section, but the dad, he came off as very authentic to me, even though the writers seemed like they were trying to kind of play up some of the things that were happening for laughs. It's hard because some of the things that happen when you're in the moment and because it's in your family, it's not funny. But like, if you were to be an onlooker looking in, it might be like, it's sad and it's frustrating and it's scary, but it's so out there that it can kind of be, the ridiculousness of it can kind of be funny. So I did appreciate that, and I thought that was really well represented. This also has some very quotable lines in it, which I enjoyed. It's got beautiful language, but I struggled with the language. So that's kind of a mixed feeling I had about it. This book is told with a very literary tone and a very intellectual tone, which makes sense because the characters are, professionals. They're in college, they're working in college, they're academics. They should be intelligent and speaking very strongly. And the book is told from Ivan's perspective. So all we get is his very elite tone of voice. But it made it a little hard to get through at times. I generally don't like the more literary writing style. I like a simple story, and this was not it. So I felt like this book was not accessible to people who don't have a higher education, and even some people who do have a higher education might struggle with it a bit. Also, there were places in this book that were kind of slow. I remember, it's been a few weeks now since I read it, so I've had some time to kind of step away from the book. There are a few big scenes I remember, but a lot of the stuff in between I don't. So that was probably where I was feeling like it was a bit of a trudge. I didn't stop reading. I didn't feel like I didn't want to continue, so it wasn't that bad. But there were just parts of the book, especially as Ivan and Prue's relationship starts to deteriorate, where I was feeling kind of frustrated. I also kind of felt frustrated with Ivan as a character. Just the way he acts gets dumb sometimes. And I really kind of wanted to punch him. I was sympathetic for both characters with the marriage trouble they have. As you may know, I'm divorced twice. So marriage problems I'm familiar with. And especially you realizing, and this is kind of one of the things that Prue and Ivan are struggling with, is they love each other very much. There's no doubt that they love each other. They're just living such different lives. And you can have that kind of relationship where you're just different people. And that doesn't mean that you're not in love, but that makes it harder to have a life together. One thing I will say about the end, before I go into some spoilers, is I didn't feel like I fully got it. So this book, the way it ends, it left me feeling like, not necessarily like I wanted more, but I wanted an explanation of what we were trying to do. The author's message was not clear to me, and I'm not sure if it was lost in the literary stuff in the book, or if it was just really subtle and I missed it. But at the end of the book, I just kind of felt like, what was the point? Not because of what happened, but just, I felt like there was a point to all this, and then I missed something. So that did leave me feeling a little frustrated with the book. As at the end, I wasn't real thrilled with it. It didn't have an ending that I felt worked well for me. Other than that, it was fine. If you like the more literary books, I would recommend. It was a good read. There were definitely some things that I did enjoy with this. I am going to go into some spoilers in a minute here, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, feel free to pop off. My social media is below if you'd like to connect with me. Also, the like button if you enjoyed this review. Remind me to keep giving reviews to people. The subscribe button is also down there if you'd like more content. Also, I'm a writer. I write romance. My books, several of them are free on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited and would like to check them out, or you'd like to buy an ebook from Amazon, all those links are down below as well. Thank you so much. So we're going into spoilers now in 3, 2, 1. So I really was interested in Prue's academic thing. What she found out or was trying to explain is that they believe animals have a language similar to the way humans do, which would make them kind of the same level. And I think that is the underlying argument there, is that Prue is making, is these are creatures who are equivalent to humans. They shouldn't be kept in a laboratory. It's like locking a person in a laboratory. Now, her father has very similar beliefs, and in his manic state, he does things that really, to kind of further her cause, because he feels like she's not being heard. But we don't know for certain if she is the way she is and is coming up with this information because of her dad, or if her dad is just so supportive of what she is doing. Although he is a vegetarian, so I feel like he's had these feelings for a while. But at one point he tries to like break an animal out of a public aquarium, At one point, he grabs their pet bird, because Ivan and Prue have a pet bird, and basically makes a point of, you guys eat chicken. Would you care if I kill this bird? It really stuff that makes sense in the moment of the mania of getting your point across. You're threatening the bird. And those were really the moments that stuck with me in the book, again, because I have a family member who has mental health issues. So I really thought that that was well done, and I thought he had a good message too. Like, I liked that message. Another thing with the mental health journey of the father, they do eventually put him in an institution, get him on medication, and unfortunately when they do, it kind of makes him a zombie, and like he's no longer vegetarian, and Ivan goes to visit him and he's eating meat, and Ivan's like, what are you doing? You don't eat meat, you're a vegetarian, and just screws up his whole world. And medication for mental health is tricky, and I loved that that was kind of shown, and also shown that, you know, the dad is obviously he's got problems when he's in his manic state, but he's a much more interesting character when he is manic, and he's a lot more himself. Like, we can see where he's not himself on the medication that he's on. And I really liked that representation, because I've recently tried some mental health medications. I haven't had any success finding ones that didn't make me tired or anxious or anything else, but seeing his struggles through the mental health medication, I really enjoyed that. I felt represented. I felt like my family members who struggle with mental health illness were really represented. So I really love the dad storyline. The dad storyline was probably my favorite part of the whole book. The stuff with Ivan and Prue. So Ivan thinks Prue is cheating on him. And so he basically goes and tries to cheat on her with one of his students. It turns out she's not cheating on him, and now he has screwed up his career. Their marriage has already been rough, and him and his wife are not doing well. And at the end of this book, they split. And I don't know what I was expecting. And I'm not upset that they split necessarily. We didn't see a lot of like their marriage being good. But I didn't really care that they split up. Like, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to care. I wasn't sure if the whole point of this book was that people keep each other in cages just as much as animals, or if she was studying animal languages but they weren't communicating, or I felt like there was a theme, but I don't know what the theme was. So I did find this book rather confusing on that level. Again, it was interesting. It had some great moments, like, again, with the dad trying to break the critters out the cage, with Prue's disastrous conference telling people what they'd found out, and the responses from the people around her basically saying, you know, we can't be saying that animals should be on the same level as humans because, you know, we experimented on them and we eat them, and saying that these animals have these intricate thoughts and lives and speech makes it so people might want to treat them better. So it was very pro-animal. And here's the thing, I definitely believe animals have intricate lives, and they're much more complex than we think they are. I'm also not a vegetarian, so I have to be kind of careful with how I judge myself and everybody else who is like, yes, animals should be kind of equal to us. They have souls, and they have language, and they communicate, and they love, and they have the same complex emotions, but we're going to kill them to eat them. And I think this book explores that question very well, and I did love that. I love that exploration. I love the exploration of the mental health. I just wasn't very interested in Ivan and Prue's marriage issues, which was actually kind of the plot of this novel. So yeah, it was okay. I'm gonna be passing it on, I think, to my brother. He is an academic. He's actually a math teacher. So I think he will enjoy the background of the story, the academics, the everybody being these college professors, the nuance, I guess you would call it, of, not agreeing with or finding things in research paid for by the university that the university doesn't want you to find, and how do you handle that, and do you just buck the system and say, okay, I don't care that I'm not getting tenure, I'm just going to do what I feel is right and what my studies say. So I'm going to pass this on to him. I think he'll enjoy it, maybe even more than I did. Like I said, it's not a bad book. There were some things I really, really liked and some things I just kind of felt underwhelmed by. So, should you pick it up? Maybe. If it sounds interesting to you, definitely give it a try. There weren't any major issues in the book. Like I said, I just didn't necessarily get it. But I find with literary books, I sometimes don't. And this felt more literary than it felt like it was it felt like it was discussing a lot of big important topics. Again, like the sentience of animals, and if animals are as sentient as we are, as thinking, as feeling, as communicative, and we just are dumb and don't see it, and these birds and stuff are sitting there talking, and if we could understand them, they have a language. I don't know. It's a cool concept. There's some really great stuff brought up in this book. The main plot of the book, which was the Ivan and Prue, was the one part I didn't really care about. So, 3 stars. Not bad. Give it a try if you want to. Alright guys, this is Jane. Talk to you next time. Bye.